This guy looks too happy tonight.
He's got cookies. He's got goodies. He doesn't care.
Taking these all away to the diabetes doctor.
Oh, they're that good? Start selling them next month. Make yourself a profit. On behalf of the Rainbow Lakes Estates Advisory Board, welcome to the May 15th, 2025 Advisory Board meeting. As a courtesy to others, please silence your cell phones and other electronics devices. If you need to take a call, please step outside. Talking or outbursts from the audience during the meeting will not be permitted. Please take seats if they are available. Scheduled requests will be allotted 5 minutes. If you signed up at the door to speak, you will be granted 2 minutes. If you have a non-agenda item to discuss, you may do so during the public comment portion toward the end of the meeting. No additional time will be allotted. When you stand up to speak, please clearly state your name and address for the record. You must provide any documentation to the staff assistant. Also, any statements you make and information you provide will become part of the official public record. This board has not allowed in the past, nor will allow in the future, personal attacks or insults against Rainbow Lakes Estates or Marion County Municipal Services staff, advisory committee members, or community volunteers. Please keep comments to no more than your allotted time and focus on specific issues. Board members and guests, if you specifically wish to call upon someone to speak with an individual in the audience during the meeting, please address the chair first. You do not need to address the chair to speak to other board members or to anyone from the public who is addressing the board during the agenda or general public comment portion of this meeting. Let's start with the invocation. Holy One, known by many names and beyond all names, thank you for every seat that has been filled here today, for each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room. We thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, hints, and daily instructions. We have talents, abilities, and time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning, every project, every season, and every life. Nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for good. Your righteousness transcends all our efforts and understanding. Forgive us for our pride, the pride that puffs us up and the pride that threatens to unqualify us. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. Bless this meeting today, all those present, all the residents, volunteers, and employees of Rainbow Lakes Estates, as well as the lives of those we will encounter afterwards. Ready us to make every moment count. Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tiffany, if you could do the roll call, please.
Kathy Bryant. Here. John Connor.
Here.
Alan McKay.
Here.
Dallas Severlin.
Here.
Dan Wilcherson.
He is absent today. Okay. We have no announcements to start with. We're going right to public comment on agenda items. We have nobody on agenda items? Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Approval of minutes for our April 17th, 2025 board meeting. Any questions, concerns on these minutes? If not, I need a motion and a second and need a vote and approval.
I move we approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving right along to our advisory committee reports. Vice Chairman, Public Safety Representative, Alan George McKay. Before we start the reports, if your report is including an agenda item, please leave that until the agenda portion of the meeting, because it's kind of been confusing that we're bouncing back and forth, okay? All right, George.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, number one, the fire rescue incidents, there were 43 total fire incidents in the last month, and in medical, there were 191. It's extremely busy for the fire department. Some of these could very well be due to all the construction going on. Please be careful out there, folks. Regarding the traffic signal installation, the following was received from Kevin Marquez, professional engineer at FDOT. Our consultant designer plans to submit their 75% draft by the end of this month. After the submittal, we will spend 4 to 5 weeks under review with multiple FDOT teams and other stakeholders, including structural, geotechnical, and traffic engineering, to make sure the critical aspects of the project are looked at. The crew you noticed, and this was, I mentioned at the last meeting, crew you noticed was probably part of the consultants completing underground explorations for the future poles and collecting soil samples to design the pole foundations. And you thought this was just a simple thing about putting a light up there. It's a lot more complicated. One challenge in the project is that the signal will require the installation of guardrail, and we have found that there's also conflict with an unknown underground utility line. The team is now searching to locate the owner of this unmarked utility, as well as continuing to coordinate with overhead utilities to plan relocations for when construction begins. With draft plans in hand, our outreach efforts will become more official as the project will be easier to picture for our impacted stakeholders. So that's government ease saying it's coming along. And as of this meeting, county website is still not updated.
All right, is that it?
That's it.
I think they need special permission or some waiver from the railroad for the light.
They have to have some of the land, and they've got to get easement.
Okay, they did get it.
And
Okay.
as you know, railroads can be very difficult to deal with. Matter of fact, once they've got property, they won't give it up unless they're out of business. You know, it's very difficult to get it out.
Right, okay. Moving on, buildings and grounds, John Connor.
Good evening. Basically, after going around and checking all the buildings, they all seem to be in good shape. I didn't notice any new or any significant damage of any type. Community center is still waiting to be repaired, so it's not usable. And I did have a question. Is that the shuffleboard and horseshoes down here, is that included in the next year or the 5-year plan? I remember there was a comment made about it, and I just wasn't sure.
So there isn't a formal renovation of it. We are working on cleaning it up and making it usable to then reassess whether we want to keep them or change them into something else. So right now our staff is working on cleaning them up. You will notice slight changes right now and a few more changes coming as far as pressure washing, getting the weeds out. Right now we're trying to get the lights working again and determine if they're operable. So it is a work in progress.
Well, thank you very much. That's all.
That's it. Thank you, John. Okay, code enforcement is a vacant position. We do have vacancies on the board if anybody's interested in joining this advisory board. Levy County Representative Daniel Schusen is absent today. He's off in Mexico having a good time. Recreation, Kathy Bryant. You got that on? Ooh.
Am I on?
No.
All right. To start with, we had the Fiber Craft Society with Jennifer, meets on the second and fourth Saturdays.
Yeah, let's get the microphone closer. Let's get it closer.
Are you sure it's on?
It's on, it's on. Yeah, you got it closer.
Start again. Rewind. The Fiber Craft Society with Jennifer Cocker meets on the second and fourth Saturdays from 12 to 3 p.m. at the Creative Arts Center. They do knitting, crocheting, and other fiber crafts. They're more than happy to teach you and just come and have a good time. The Pins and Needles Stitchers Club with Marcy meets on Mondays from 10 until 2 at the Creative Arts Center. They do gorgeous work. I've been out there. Anyway, it's awesome. The Poker Club meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 3 at the the Creative Arts Center. Larry Hoffman can answer any of your questions. I have his number if you want it. Women's Club gathers at the Community Center Complex at 10 a.m. on the third Wednesday of the month. Currently, they go to lunches. They're also considering other activities. Nancy Krause can answer any of those questions. And again, I have her telephone number. Domino Club meets on Friday nights from 7 p.m. at the Community Center Complex. Contact Angel Cullen for more information, and their fun group. Tater Tot Tuesdays are at 10 a.m. to noon at the community center for the little ones. It's free and it's open to the public. Pickleball is every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. at Seacliff Park, and that is also free to the public. The youth center has reopened Wednesdays and Fridays from 4 until 8. There's a nominal charge of $5 a year for residents and $10 a year for non-residents. Kayaks are available to the public for rent on Mondays through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The rental is $25 for the first 4 hours and then $5 for each additional hour. The fitness club, I have photographs of the equipment if somebody wants to see it. The building is very spacious and registration appointments can be made from the Rainbow Lakes Estates office. And it's for the residents of the community. Still on Wednesdays? Anytime. Okay, it's open anytime. Currently, the annual yearly fee is $25 for 1 year or $50 for 2 years. Through the district office, again, I have their telephone number if you want it. On the third evening of the month, there's a plant swap from 6 until 7. It's open to the public. Bring a plant and swap a plant. And I heard somebody's going to bring coffee.
We hope.
Oh, we hope, okay. If the coffee shows up, the cookies will show up. So you can blame Mr. Coffee.
Well, that could be a question. Can they have coffee for the plant swap?
I'm gonna say sure. Yeah, that's definitely something we can accommodate.
I appreciate that. There you go. Win-win. You bring cookies.
Yes, you will help.
I'll stay home. Well, no, you're bringing cookies, I'll show up.
You better show up, yes. Volunteers are needed to help with recreational activities. A level 1 background check is necessary, and that is paid for by Rainbow Lakes Estates. And we really need volunteers, and actually you can come and have a really good time. Other than that, on June the 27th at 6 p.m. in this building, we're having a meet and eat dinner. So get to meet your neighbors and have a good time. Food is always good. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Kathy. All right. Acting Roads Representative Alan George McKay, you have anything to add?
Yeah, yesterday I drove around the estates and most roads are in fairly good condition. One of the things I found on Mandrake, 450 Mandrake, big gouges in the road, looks like concrete truck or something, whatever. It's a large gouge, so it's something they're gonna have to fix, I know. But just, that's the only thing I really, that really stood out. I am amazed at the amount of construction going on. It's just incredible. Driving around, from the last time I did it, I've seen probably 30 new houses that weren't in construction before. It's amazing.
George, that 415 Mandrake, is that in front of a build site?
That's in front of a build site, yes. That's it.
That's it. Zach actually said something to me very interesting outside. We're all aware that with all these small-time builders in here, our roads are getting beat up. There is actually a procedure in place, and Zach, if you could explain that to everybody.
Absolutely. So with all these build sites that are going on, we don't have a whole lot of leverage as far as holding them accountable. So the roadside damage, there is one aspect to that. OCE, the county engineers, are willing to work with us. So if you folks are seeing where these large trucks and these build sites are breaking off the edge of that asphalt on these build sites, take note of that address, let us know, because the county engineer, they'll work with us as far as holding their certified occupancy permit on the driveway. Essentially, they can't have that certificate until they repair that roadside edge, is what that's going to do for us. So we do have that to hold them accountable. So as you're coming across these build sites, keep in mind too, that repair work probably won't get done until they are finished with that project. But we do have that outlet to hold them accountable. But since you guys are boots on the ground, I can't see everything. If you can take notes of the address and send them our way, I can follow through with OCE and do reports.
Thank you, Zach. I'm actually going to post that on social media, so the residents that don't come to the meetings will know that there's something they can do.
Awesome.
So Tiffany, expect your phone to be ringing off the hook. Okay, moving on. Municipal Service Manager reports. Katie Burton, Municipal Services Recreation Manager, Marion County.
Something like that. Katie Burton, Community Manager. I will be presenting the staff report this evening. We'll start with attendance for the month of March and April. Total attendance for April was 682. It was a little bit lower than March due to not having Easter in April. And the meet dinner that was also in March and not in April. But notably, we had 189 users in the fitness center, 6 back in the youth center. Again, we're just reopening that youth center. 15 at the plant swap. I think basketball is over the group that was using our basketball court, so we'll be seeing that fall off our report. Domino Club had 37, Poker Club 43, Fiber Craft Society with 15, Tater Tot Tuesday with 61 little tots playing in here, so that is amazing. We definitely encourage anyone with little young children to come to Tater Tot Tuesday with us. Pins and Needles with 16 participants. As far as expenses and revenues, for the RLE General Government, we have $272,825 in expenses, with $1,434,510 in revenues, with a balance of $1,118,256. In that Recreation Fund, we have $68,621 in expenses, with revenues of $374,592, leaving a balance of $301,218. And then finally, in RLE Road and Street, we have expenses of $259,556, with revenues of $2,092,851 and a balance of $1,843,275. Speaking of that roads and street, with a huge kudos to our operations side of the house, April had 4 completed work orders and 2 remaining open, and year to date we have 30 completed work orders with just those 2 remaining open for the entire year. So they have been responding very quickly to any needs that they're getting, which is awesome. Definitely encourage anyone to report any work orders or things that you notice to us so we can get them taken care of quickly. And then rentals booked year to date, we have Community Center booked 8 times and 4 pavilions booked. So we're definitely seeing an increase in the interest on rentals as well. I would also like to report, and he actually graced us with his presence this evening, Tom Wilcox from our Marion Oaks location has been out here helping Monty get some grounds maintenance done and our buildings and the shuffleboard things and some other stuff on our building. So very appreciative of the extra staff and extra hands while we're working to fill those positions. And we are working on setting up interviews for both the supervisor and recreation leader position in the next few weeks.
I have a question. I noticed pickleball isn't on here. Do we
Right.
still, is the count, is,
It's not an official club, so we don't technically report on it at this time. Happy to make it a club one day.
okay, and that would be a club run by, I guess, once we have recreation
We would have to
people in
have a rec
place.
leader, yes. So right now we have the facilities for it, but we don't have a rec leader operating the pickleball.
Right, okay. I just, question.
And I know there was a request for the meet to be 6 to 8 p.m. instead of 6 to 9. That
Yes.
is totally fine. Staff has the direction to end it whenever it is essentially over. They're scheduled till about 9 anyway for cleanup, so that is totally fine with us.
Okay, great, appreciate that. All right, that it?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Zach Jacobson, Marion County Municipal Services Operations Manager. You have anything to add?
I do. Zachary Jacobson, Operations Manager. All right, so I'm just going to run through kind of the updates, what we've accomplished, what we've acquired since we were here last month. So our roads department, we talked about the dump trailer we're in the midst of getting. So we have since finally received that. We've used that to do some repair work, improvement work down the boat ramp. If you guys haven't been down there, they laid, I don't know, somewhere in the ballpark, 8 tons of lime rock and then put a nice gravel over the top. So it's a lot more user-friendly than it was in the past. We are getting ready to auction off 2 pieces of equipment that have been sitting down there for probably the last 5 years. So once that happens, that money will go back into our roads account funds. What else we got here? I did a little work on their job descriptions for our road crew guys. since general government and roads split some time ago and kind of been separate, and nobody's really addressed whose responsibilities are what. So this last month, I put some time in, made it align better and made more clear what the expectation of their roles are. So those have now been approved and they're in place. Let's see what else we have. We have our landscaping irrigation. So you guys will find this in your packet.
Yes.
So we talked about, the original plan was to do landscaping around the two signs and then that first median. With the FDOT project that we're waiting on, we went ahead and removed the sign aspect from the scope of work. We can readdress that once FDOT is done up at the intersection. But this is just kind of a rough plan of what the landscaping is going to cover. So we are going to repair and start reusing the irrigation system that was once out there as a part of it too. So around each tree, they're going to be now flower beds where we'll do annual plantings. The cost that we got in on that is $4,800. That's for the revamping of the irrigation, all the new plantings and cleaning up what is currently there to make those flower beds. The only thing we're waiting on is for a PO to be assigned. Once procurement assigns us a PO for it, we'll get an NTP and get started.
Excellent. Yeah, Stack, I wanted to please pass on to the road crew the repairs on the boat ramp. That was fantastic. I saw that and that's great.
Awesome. Well, we have one of our road guys here tonight, Mr. David. There.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
And the last thing that I wanted to mention, so this year's road improvement project is out to bid. We will be doing our bid opening on June 5th. So realistically, by the time everything's said and done, we should be laying asphalt, I would say October, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay, great.
That's all I got for you.
All right. And we'll revisit the landscaping at the walls once we know,
Yeah.
once the light basically goes up.
Yeah. Once they finish making their mess, we'll go make ours.
Okay, great. Great.
Interesting way to put it.
All right. All right, moving on. Now, Chad Wicker, our Municipal Services Director, has decided to abandon us for vacation. And we're going to go to Lieutenant Julie Volwinkle, Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So happy to report there's still no trending crime in your area. However, in some of the other areas, we're seeing an uptick in e-bike thefts. I don't know if any of you have an e-bike. Keep those locked up. If you're receiving text messages telling you that you like to click on a link for unpaid tolls, don't click on that link, it's a scam. If you should know if you have tolls that you haven't paid, and they do send you a bill in the mail. So that's the main thing we're seeing. A lot in the elderly population falling for these frauds where they think they're talking to celebrities, the celebrities buying their house. I mean, there's just so much going on with that. So don't fall for any of those. If you get any and you're not sure, come to the district office. We can look at it. But I would tell you, like 99% of the time, that text message is a scam.
Yeah.
That it?
Yeah, Lieutenant, I want to thank you too for the extra visibility we're seeing. I've seen visibility out front, fantastic.
Good.
Please pass on to your deputies, appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on. We're nothing for consent, old business. I think these actually are gonna end up being sidelined. 6A, clubhouse renovations, relief center, any progress report on the renovations. We will not be discussing designating the RLE clubhouse as a hurricane relief center until renovations are complete. Do we have any update?
Again, Zach, Municipal Services. So I do have an update for you, sir. We are looking at next Tuesday, the 20th. It'll go in front of the board for approval, the contract for the renovation. Once they drop their gavel, we'll get an NTP and get you started. The abatement has been complete for probably about a month now. They've been in and out pretty quick, so I'm hoping to see the remodel crew in there hopefully next month, I would hope.
Okay, great. Great. Any questions? Thank you, Zach.
Yes, sir.
All right, so moving on. Boat ramp fees and penalty ordinance. Are there any updates or direction from the Marion County Legal Department on amending the current code ordinance and fees?
This will actually cover 6B and 6C. We have a meeting set with Marion County Administration on May 30th. That will be Chad, myself, Legal Department, and Administration, County Administrator, to discuss both of those topics and our interest in changing them based on your feedback this far. I will say Tiffany and I took a little field trip out to the boat ramp. I took a picture of all the signs to see what needs replaced. It has been repaired thanks to, again, to our roads and streets guys. So the approach is much smoother now. It seems like a much better approach for a boat ramp. So it seems perfectly suitable. If there's any other complaints, definitely let us know. And I'm looking into the sign replacements as well. But as far as the fees and the Levy County recreation fees, those are both ordinance changes that will be discussed later this month.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anybody?
No.
Okay. Again, I think this one's gonna slide right by. 6C, Levy County recreation fees. Any update or progress report on moving forward on assessing Levy County RLE residents or recreation fees that are currently only paid by Marion County RLE residents?
Again, that will be addressed later this month.
Okay. All right. So now here we go. This one won't slide by. 6D, Fire Station 2 designation. This board had on the agenda for several months a discussion concerning ideas and or plans that we may have had for former RLE VFD Station Number 2. For some reason or another, this was removed from our agenda and someone took it upon themselves to designate the building to Buildings and Grounds as their shop. The use of this facility for Buildings and Grounds was one of the options we were considering. To clarify and set the record straight, I would like to officially recommend that the former RLE VFD Station 2 be designated as our Buildings and Grounds facility. I will need a motion, a second, and a vote if all board members agree. If this motion passes, may I recommend that the building receive new signage stating the proper use of the facility.
Yes. I'll
So
second
any
that.
discussion,
I'll
or are we
second.
just gonna go right to the motion?
Motion, because,
So Kathy made the motion.
yes, I'll second.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion carries to designate the building for Buildings and Grounds and put a sign on it.
It was a shame to see it not used.
I will say, I believe it was used simply because there's lack of budget to do much else with it at this point, and the need for immediate storage of those materials kind of superseded anything else at this point. It doesn't mean it can't future be used if budget becomes available to do so, and we have a good idea and want to do that down the road. Right now, it's just preservation and storage of our tools as needed.
Well, it was one of the options we were considering, and more than likely it would have won out to begin with.
Correct.
That was the cheapest option.
Correct, yeah. So I appreciate the designation. We'll definitely work on getting that signage updated. And again, it's still an asset later down the road if things change.
Excellent.
All right. New business board items. Anybody have any new business? Okay.
No. It'll be a quick meeting.
Prior meeting updates. Do any board members have any updates from prior meetings?
No, I do not.
Well, it turns out I do. Signage. Last year, this board voted to change the name of Tiger Lake Park to Tiger Lake Boat Launch and to designate this area where most of our buildings sit, as well as the dock, to the Rainbow Lakes Estates Community Center Complex. Also, this area surrounding the former RLE VFD Station 2 and the Creative Arts Center was named the Winding Hill Park. At that time, it was recommended that new signage depicting these names be placed at these locations, and to date, this has not been done. At what point will the signage be installed?
That is part of the sign project I'm working on with the other boat ramp as well. So those will all be included once we do order new signs.
Okay. Will we get an update of where the signs are actually going? I mean, we don't need billboards.
Yeah, of course,
A nice
of course.
little sign somewhere.
There's also discussion, I will say, internally in the department on whether we keep the current theme or we include Marion County Municipal Services in it. So you'll have mock-ups when we do get to the sign project.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you didn't know Tiger Lake Park or Tiger Lake Park, you wouldn't, because you can't read the sign. It's
Right.
faded so bad, it's gone.
It'd be nice to have signs elsewhere to direct people to that and to Winding Hills and
Oh,
the Creative
absolutely,
Arts
agree.
Center.
If we could do builders, absolutely would. I was recently informed by our operations manager that signs are more expensive than you would expect, so.
It'd be even nice to have something like on Seacliff directing people to the Buildings and Grounds garage, because it's out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. all things we can look into on the project.
You would think I had stock in a sign company.
Starting to wonder.
All right, that was, wow, we're moving right along. General public comment. Please clearly state and spell your name and address for the record. You're also required to give your full address. Any statements you make and information you provide will become part of the official public record.
Steve Singer, how do you pronounce that?
Long time no see.
Good thing, that's good. Is this on? Hello, how you doing?
How you doing, Steve? Been a while since you showed up here at a meeting.
We'll sit there and get back into it. My name is Steve Strissair, 22372 Southwest Nectarine Lane, Florida. Anything else? Okay. I have 5 things, just general questions and then a suggestion. I didn't see anything about the youth center calendar for upcoming events. Maybe we can get something like that going on so that the parents that want to participate in the youth center could find out what's going on, what kind of clubs we have and whatnot. Is there any type of ticket system for the meet and eat? And I'm not talking about charging for it, but so we don't have staff preparing a huge amount of food when we know that we're not going to have a crowd coming. Maybe something where they can come to the district office, get a free ticket, therefore everybody knows that we need to have servants for 6
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty much they show up at the door, show their ID, and in they come.
I'm gonna get there too. And what kind of advertisement are you doing for the meet and greet? Not that I get out like you, I stay. But are we putting anything at the front to advertise it to all the residents that we're doing a meet and greet on a regular basis? Or is it only through social media and nothing like that?
I do believe a sign goes up there, but we do need something
Yeah, like
bigger and more.
Like a big sandwich board?
There, I'm back at signs.
Yeah, like a big sandwich board and sits right there, maintenance guys can put it up on the morning and then we can take it back down. And then that goes to the ID, you gotta have an ID, it's gotta have this address in it, but how are we addressing the snowbirds that don't have an ID, driver's license for this location, but still live in this couple more? It's a question for you guys. Is it possible, and do we want to think about supporting or sponsoring a scouting unit here? And I don't even know if that is possible within the scope of what we have here on the grounds. So I'm just throwing that out there for the board, because there are scout units and they are growing in New York, in and around here. With our growth, that would be really good here.
I think that's a good idea.
That's an excellent idea.
3 more things. Do we need time? Do we have a timeline for the light? I know it's years or whatnot.
Last information I have is probably going to be another year.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying if we can put it out.
And of course, that's barring any difficulty.
Of course. 2 things. Brought it up a long time ago, bringing it up again. We have at our disposal CPR instructors. And so we are willing, you know what I'm talking about, the volunteer fire department, I'm more than willing to provide CPR instruction here to the community. There is a fee, it's a national fee, but you know we're more than willing to do that. And if that's something that the board would like to pursue or anybody else would like to pursue.
Could you repeat that?
CPR. We have CPR instructors. And we're, again, more than willing to come up here, and there are other CPR instructors that would be more than willing to come up here.
That would be something
Yeah,
to.
I need to
like an event or
recertify. I
something.
haven't done it in a long time, so.
Yeah, we're a bunch of them. And then the last one I have is it possible for us to get an account of the number of homes here and the number of permits that are issued, so we can have a better knowledge of how many? Because 3 years ago, it was 1,400 and growing out of 14,000 pieces of property, which was 10%, and we knew that number was wrong.
If it comes in at under 2,000, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. But I think that's important for y'all as a board and us as
I
a
agree.
community to know how many we have out there. And I don't expect it to be to the point, but there used to be 1,400, and that was a long time ago.
I think a year ago or so, it was like 16.
60, but I mean, you know, I
But-
have 3 on my street alone, and I.
And I'm gonna assume that they're just, mass clearing these lots now, so there might be permits, because I'm seeing a lot of lots just being cleared now and sitting.
Yeah. So my big thing is youth center, what we have for the youth that are out there. It doesn't seem like we're posting it. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe we need to be involved to get something. Go ahead. Let me know. That's all.
That's all you have, yeah.
That was just kind of, I go through really quick because I know I got 2 minutes, and then I'll let you guys explain.
As far as signage, anything considered a strike sign is actually against the county's litter policy, so I'm not allowed to put up temporary signs in that nature. It is mostly flyers, communicator, and social media that we are advertising. Again, we are working on launching a new website that's going to be third party outside of social media. I think that will help a lot with this, but we are working on that. There will be a new flyer sent out for the coming up meet or meet and greet, or whatever rhyme it is.
Okay, so you said strike signage?
Yes.
Okay, what about banners that are put up at the front entrance? Are those considered strike signage?
No, those are okay, but those are expensive, so it has to be something reusable. So as long as we do it responsibly, it is
But again, we could have a temporary sign that goes up and says this week, yada, 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 we're having a meet and eat, and we can have that removed down, reduce that, and that would violate.
I'm wondering if we shouldn't start to discuss something like a sign where you can change the letters, a trailer.
Back over
Budget
there.
pending, yes, that would be ideal.
Yeah, that way we can move it.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
As you do not remember, between Pavarotti's and Circle K, there used to be a sign there.
Yeah, that was an ours though, I don't think. Was that ours?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It listed all the places.
Oh, the big billboard.
Big billboard.
The billboard, I do remember that.
Yeah.
And to put a sign on the island, I don't think would be a violation, because we talked about that a long time.
Yeah, I remember the board had discussed at one time putting the signs scrolling signs on the brick walls.
Yeah.
We have enough accidents out there as it is. We don't need people stopping to read us.
But the island, the first island with a removable sign, which would be permanent, and that would not be able.
If it's permanent signage, that would be different. Yeah, that would be permissible, budget pending.
I'll bring
As
it
far
up
as-
next month too.
I do have a question for you. You are still with the fire department,
Yes, sir.
Station 14. And you probably know just where I'm going with this. And I believe, you guys showing up at any of our events or our dinners with the fire trucks, everybody loves a fire truck. And we are all aware, I think the board was aware that there was an obstacle.
There is, we need a.
That is gone. And I was wondering if you could reach out to Tiffany, if you just couldn't reach out and get you guys to start showing up at our events and things. It would be amazing, and I think the people would love it. Possibly get back with doing the Santa ride-along.
We'd love to do all that. Tiffany just needs to reach out to us and we can have a conversation. You just need to reach out to us, and then I'll reach out to my boss. And make that
Katie should be included in
happen.
that.
Or whoever.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Absolutely.
community manager of the.
I forgot you were sitting there.
All we need is an invitation. That's how we get to the school. All we need is an
Well,
invitation.
as far as I'm concerned, you have a standing invitation, but I think you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to work with you. And as far as CPR classes, our staff is already CPR certified, but if you as an instructor or your crew as an instructor would like to host a CPR class here for the public, you're always welcome to do that. It would just be on you to schedule it, and then we could advertise it for you and market it and things like that.
That's, I'd be more than happy, yes. I think that's something the board should promote as a community. That
Absolutely.
If you're willing to do that, that we're willing to do it, because we're all getting older, and CPR is a cheap and expensive thing for me to do.
Well, I'd like to see more involvement with the fire department, with the community.
Yeah.
At one point, it was a vital part of the community, and that was cut off.
Yeah, Steve, do you have the availability of any kind of education for use of the defibrillator?
So American CPR does do the.
It does have that, okay,
Yes, sir,
excellent,
it does.
excellent.
Current standards are that as part of the training.
Okay,
And then we can also do the babysitting stuff, just to let you know. We do the babysitting stuff, basic first aid, and the rest of that stuff. So that's an asset that's down the street.
great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Good to see you. All right. So if you guys could meet with him and
Absolutely, always willing to.
That'd be great.
And as far as youth center activities, there simply hasn't been youth center activities without a rec leader, so.
That's true.
We'll start seeing that marketing up and running soon.
Yeah, I'm more talking like the fire department showing up for
Absolutely.
events, you know. Everybody loves a fire truck.
I love a fire truck. Yeah.
Well, you might be senile.
I'm older than you.
All right, moving on.
One more. Marcy McKay. Marcy McKay.
Hi, Marcy, long time no see.
Marcy McKay, 3764 Southwest Bluegill. I want to address the volunteer situation and our clubs that we have, or lack thereof. About 6 months ago, 8 months ago, Dallas asked me to be kind of in charge of our volunteers for
Committee,
all of
yes.
our committee for all of our events. As far as I know, there is myself and one other lady. That's it. I have no way of knowing who anyone else is. Katie, can we get together sometime and try to figure out who these people are and come up with some kind of a plan and or schedule to take and help with all of the events, because it's so much work and it's exhausting to take and do this, and I love it. I love my community and I want to help, but I'm only one person, and my friend Ellen is the only other one that I know of that I can contact. If I'm supposed to be in charge of this committee, I don't even know who the other volunteers are. I don't have a clue. I asked and never got an answer.
When we created the committee, when this board created the committee, it was to work with the district office. And it seems that for some reason, we had the committee, which several members quit
Yes, sir.
over
They
the
quit.
issue, and the office was running a separate recreation group, volunteer group. And the idea was having this group work with the district office and coordinating with all the volunteers. It was not just to show up, you know, to serve the food or that kind of stuff. It was to come up with ideas
We
and
had-
thoughts and things like that.
We had many ideas, and everything that we came up with was a flat out, no, we can't do that. No, you can't do that. Without any discussion about anything at all. I took and I went through and found an old list of all of the clubs that had been here in Rainbow Lakes Estates. There was probably 50 or 60 different active clubs. Right now, I think we have 4. I want this community to thrive again, and it can't be thriving as a retirement community. Excuse me. It has to thrive as a community for retirees like us, but also people with growing families. We have the great youth center, and I know we didn't have staffing for it, but there are so many things that could happen for the kids. I can't run all of these clubs. We have to have someone come up and say, I will be in charge of the kids playing kickball once a week at such and such a time, and coming out and playing ball with the kids. Or another group say, somebody wants to take and start a jigsaw puzzle. Say once we get the clubhouse fixed, have that open 2 or 3 mornings a week, and have people just come in and being able to take and sit down and work on a jigsaw puzzle or something else, and have time with their neighbors. And everything, though, doesn't have to be in the morning. We have lights in all of these buildings. People can take and do clubs in the evening. Several people have contacted me about the sewing group that I do on Monday. Well, can you do it at night? No, I don't want to do it at night. I worked for 40 years so that I could do this kind of stuff during the day. But you know what? If you're working, you be in charge of one and doing something at night. I'd be more than happy to help anybody get something started. But we need to take and publicize all of this great stuff that we could do. I gave Dallas, I think I sent you the list of all of these old clubs that we have.
You did.
And we went through them, and we got rid of a bunch of things that were no longer pertinent, you know, like the Democratic Club and the Republican Club and all of these things that just didn't happen. We have a VFW post out here, and we don't have any VFW members that come out here. Why can't that be reactivated somehow? I mean, there's so many things that were there, and we just need some help to take and get it going again. And like I said, Katie, contact me. I will jump through hoops to take and help you with any of this. And Tiffany knows I'm always the first one to volunteer whenever there's anything that needs to be done. And I will gladly help. I am so adamant about this that I volunteer at a thrift store 1 day a week. I would give that up to take and focus more on this because this is more important. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Marcy.
Can I sit down now?
Thank you, Marcy.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing, Marcy. We're definitely happy to work with you. I can't speak to the conception of that committee or what happened in the past, but I can tell you going forward, that's not the case anymore. Tiffany is the queen of volunteers as far as I'm concerned, so I will lobby her into the middle of this. She definitely has those contacts that we can kind of merge those, build that bridge back and get that volunteer list organized and have some events set up with volunteers. If you know someone who wants to host kickball or sewing, please send them our way.
That's the whole issue. I mean, people don't realize.
Marcy, you gotta come back up there.
There are so many people that have moved in here that still don't even know that this exists. They don't even know this exists. At one point in time, there was talk of like a welcome wagon type of thing for new residents, and that fell apart too. I mean, if people don't know we're here, how can they take and they participate in anything? And I understand you like the whole social media and advertising everything on social media. There are still a lot of people here that don't have anything to do with social media.
Oh, let me be clear, we use it because it's free and
Oh, I
budget-friendly.
understand.
But we are
that.
working towards other avenues.
Yeah, I
We have
am.
postcards coming, we have a third-party website that's not tied to any social media, we'll have push notifications to emails, we still have the communicator running, so all of
Right.
that is being revamped.
Right, I understand
And there will
that.
be a grand opening for the clubhouse, for, as we
Right.
call for all those clubs once that
Exactly.
is finished.
So, I mean, maybe at that grand opening, when we get the clubhouse back up and running, we could have a sign-up table and say, hey, I want somebody to take and have a canasta club, because that was one of the clubs that was on that list, was people that wanted to play cards. They wouldn't have to just play canasta, maybe one day a week. There could be an open card game for people to come and play cards. Or, I know Tiffany, your husband plays that beanbag cornhole game. Why, we could do that. I mean, there's so much, but we need to take and publicize it.
Absolutely, work in progress. I'll get
Okay.
2 tables at the grand opening.
Okay, thank you.
My suggestion's gonna be a cookie club, and I have a volunteer.
Uh-oh,
I'm,
uh-oh.
All right, is there anybody that would like to add something? Come on up, Omar. I'll give you a
This will be
minute and
quick.
a half.
Omar Rodriguez, 4535 Southwest Fifth Court. Lieutenant, it's always what everybody appreciates the increased presence of you guys here, but I want to make you aware, and I think some of us, you guys already know this. The boat ramp over at Tiger Lake, seems like between 5 and 7 p.m., kids on these mopeds, these bikes, they're just tearing it up. It's like a horse.
So are you, is anybody calling?
I've called
that
twice.
it's happened?
I've called twice.
This is at Tiger Lake
Yeah.
or Little Lake Bonneville?
The one where we did the repairs.
Tiger.
Tiger Lake, yeah.
Any certain day of the week?
It seems like it's random, but between 5 and 7, just before sunset. I've called twice, but by the time you get a unit, I'm looking at it and giving it, but by the time you get a unit, but, I mean, if it's just a random patrol, you might be able to, I mean, everybody knows we got random kids with these, I don't know what to call them, these loud bikes going down the street. They're not supposed to be on the street. I mean, they're kids, I don't have a problem with that, but when you go to the ramp and start tearing up the grass and making circles, that's kind of a different story. So just something to keep in mind. Thank you.
Thanks, Omar.
Thank you, Omar. Anyone else? Last chance. Come on, name and address and Your address too.
23744 Tiger Lake Boulevard. So I just moved here 2 weeks ago, and I'm incredibly passionate about building families, building community, volunteering my time. And so I'm excited to foster and grow and all the things Marcy said. So I'm happy to help facilitate with events and planning and organizing. It's kind of my specialty when it comes to stuff like that. But I also am a board advisor for We Create Tech, which provides technology opportunities to students in underserved areas. I love giving back, and so all that stuff. So I'd love to get to know you if anyone wants to come chat with me. I have a few minutes after the board meeting to talk, but I just wanted to say hello and happy to be here. So
And if you could give your name to Marcy and Tiffany.
yeah,
You know,
so
meet
Tiffany
with the
actually
two of
encouraged
them
me to come up here and talk.
And that's great.
We
by the way.
connected.
Welcome to Rainbow Lakes
Yeah,
Estates.
and I also think like we're missing some opportunity maybe with like engagement in different ways, but I think it's a lot of resources to pull in when you're managing like Facebook pages and stuff like that. So I'd be happy to volunteer and kind of, getting more engagement because that's what I do. So I'm definitely excited to help because I kind of already see some areas where I can give back. So thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, we don't want everybody coming here.
Careful what you wish for.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Thank you for your patience and your grace. My name is Aisha, 21467 Southwest Plantation Street, Denellen, Florida. I moved here 2 years ago. This is my first time at the board meeting. So I'm just saying hello as well to all of my neighbors and hoping to be able to serve like Marcy so passionately talked about. So just grateful to be here and wanted to say hello. This is Sire. I won't bring him every time, but we are staying at home, so we, do our best. But thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Love that smile. Love that smile there.
Thank you. All right, last call. All right, moving on to announcements. Do any board members or guests have anything they would like to announce?
I'd like to apologize for my misprint on the time for June 19th. Our budget meeting will be here at 10 a.m., not 6:30 p.m. So you will be lonely if you come here at 6:30. Please join us at 10 a.m. for the budget meeting. Thank you.
Well, see, every time you make a mistake, then you have to wear one of those costumes for the Christmas party.
I think I have to do that anyway.
All right. The next Rainbow Lakes Estates Meet and Eat Dinner will be held right here at the RLE Community Center Complex on Friday, June 27th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I do believe the menu has changed and we are now serving hot dogs and hamburgers, am I correct? And if you're throwing a side of tater tots, I'm in. This is a resident-only event with no charge. Proof of residency is required. Please contact the RLE District Office if you have any questions concerning this proof of residency. Come on out and get to know your neighbors. The Marion County Board of County Commissioners RLE budget hearing will be held here in the RLE Community Center at 10 a.m. on Thursday, June 19th, 2025. This is a great opportunity to come out and meet your county commissioners and voice your ideas, concerns, and opinions about our district. Our next advisory board meeting will be held on Thursday, July 17th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. here in the community center. Thank you all for coming, and we look forward to seeing you next month. And this
Yes.
meeting's adjourned.
Yes. I want to thank you all for coming. It's very heartening to see all of you here. It's great. Thank you very much.
Tiffany?
I'm surprised the number of people.
What's that?
I'm surprised the number of people here.